Hello, everyone. Welcome to Outliers Get to Know. I'm your host, Tracey Devlyn, and I am here with USA Today bestselling authors Adrienne Giordano and Misty Evans to talk about their new mystery, Fourth Silence. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thank you. It's
Hi.
great to be here.
Yeah, good to see you.
It's great to have you. I got my buddies on screen here. It's always fun
Yay!
to reunite, even if it is virtually. That's awesome. So it's good, so good to see the what I call the dynamic duo back in action here. For those who aren't aware, Adrienne and Misty have collaborated on a number of books. You've got it's called the Justice Team series. I think that's where
Yep.
you all started out, in which you have a number of books in that series, and now the Schock sisters. And so was it easy to kind of jump back in the saddle together, or were you a little rusty after a little bit of a time apart?
Like for me, it's always, I think, I don't know, I won't speak for Misty, but for
Yeah.
me, I think she and I just have such a seamless process that it's just easy just to jump back in. And, I love the character of Meg too. So it's just fun to dive back into them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
I
great.
I totally agree. I was the one I kind of pitched it to Adrian. I was like, "Hey, what if we do another Shock Sisters mystery?" Because I was really itching to do it because I enjoy writing with her anyway. And the Shock Sisters, there's something really cool about them. I think we both embody our characters a lot. And so we have a lot of fun. And I know, like, Charlie's voice for me just is so easy. Like, I just slip right back into it. And
Yeah.
yeah, so, and honestly, the story back in the day was that Adrian is the one who said, "Hey, what if we try writing a story together and, just see what happens?" And so it kind of was one of those things when we started writing where we were just going to use it like as a marketing thing. We were going to just try it out, see how it worked. And the Justice Team was born. After we wrote that first book,
Yes.
we're like, well, now we got to write more
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
you know,
Well,
it
and I
was
think it was
really
supposed to be
cool.
a free novella or something. We were
Yeah.
just going to do like a 10,000
Ah.
word deal. And then we got into it and I was like, wow, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
And you went on to write a very successful series. I know the Justice Team series was extremely
Yeah.
successful, and I was looking at the Shock Sisters, and you have so many positive reviews out there, and
Yeah.
so I think that one's doing great too for you. So, you
And
found
that,
you
and
found
this,
something that works. Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
I was just going to
No,
say,
that's
and the
great.
Shock Sisters is a spinoff from the Justice
The
Team
justice.
because we
Yeah.
introduced them in the Justice Team, and then we were like, we really like these characters.
I
They
did
should have their
notice
own
a few
series.
familiar names in the
Yeah.
story. Yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
has some little gems, some little cameos in there. At least, well, not a cameo. I guess it was just a name. I don't know that they ever came on screen now that I think about
No.
it. So, yeah,
Yeah.
No.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So, yeah, there's a
yeah.
whole story behind all of that. But the Shock Sisters just needed their own series, and we have so much fun when we write them. And their mom is just hysterical.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's a
She's
force.
a pip. She is.
Absolutely. Well, I was
Well,
glad to
and
hear
what's
you. Oh,
interesting, oh, sorry, Trace. I
that's
think
okay.
what's interesting is I think each of Charlie and Meg have like part of their mom's passion.
Yeah.
Meg has that constant drive for justice for these victims, where Charlie is more of your she's more of your in charge, get it done kind of girl, right?
Hmm.
So where Meg is a little like, oh, we have to get this done and we have to get the justice, and Charlie's like, okay, how are we getting this done? Both of you need to calm down and we need to figure out how we're getting it done.
Right,
Yeah.
because Meg and Helen, the mom, they're both very emotionally driven, and Charlie's very
Yes.
cerebral. So she's very like, I want justice for them too, but there's a process that we have to go through, and we have to do it right. And she's got an FBI background and stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, I
Yeah.
was glad to hear that you both named the characters that it sounds like you both maybe kind of own the character Meg versus Charlie.
Yes.
And I have to say, when I was reading the book, I went back and forth on it a little bit about whose was who, because there were times I know Adrienne a little bit better because we've co-written a series together as well. So I knew some of the things about Adrienne, like she has great she has a great sense of shoes and things like that. And Charlie seems to have a great taste in shoes as well. And so I didn't make, I'm sure you probably do too, Misty, but I don't know that about you. So I'm like, it's got to
Right.
be Charlie. Charlie is Adrienne's character. And then it goes on. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
Meg's got to be Adrienne's character. So you guys, you did a good job of the little, kind of melding everything together. So it was more of one voice, maybe, I guess.
Yeah. No, and I think that's what's kind of fun about, because there are times when Misty will write something and I'll go, did I write that? Because we do have a very familiar, a similar voice.
Yeah.
But no, I
Well,
am Meg and Misty is Charlie.
Yeah.
yeah, and Adrienne has said since the beginning that we think with the same mind a lot with these
Yeah.
characters. So I think that that helps the flow of the writing so that it's not as obvious that I mean they're very different characters, but there's not so much difference in our voice that they don't work together. So in
Hmm.
fact, I went to my private reader group and I asked them and I'm like, which one of the characters do you think that I'm writing? Almost all of them nailed it. They all thought I was
Uh,
doing Charlie. So I'm like, you
Oh,
yeah.
guys know me
wow.
pretty well.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
It is. It is great. It is great. All right. Well, before we get into the book, why don't you both tell us a little bit about yourselves and your individual writing journeys? And I don't know, Misty, would you like to get us started?
Sure. Like Tracey introduced me, I'm Misty Evans, and this year I celebrated my 100th book release. I have been in the publishing world since 2008, and I was writing for probably 7 years before I got my first publishing contract. Um, that was back way back before indie publishing came along. And so I had a couple of agents and I've had a bunch of publishers. And now I am all indie because I like to be in control. I'm kind of a control freak and I'm very DIY. So indie fits me very well. And in fact, next week with our release, that'll be my oh my gosh, 105th, 106th maybe. I'm not
Wow.
sure.
Wow.
It's amazing.
I have two pen
Yeah.
names and writing is my therapy and my passion. So
Yeah.
I write every day and it keeps me sane.
Yeah. And you're very creative otherwise too. You have do candles and all sorts of neat things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm very
it's
crafty. And I think
crafty.
that that was always part of like always growing up and through all of my even when I had my two kids and everything else, I was like always crafting because there's this level of creativity that I have to explore again, and that keeps the anxiety at bay and that keeps the world feeling somewhat sane to me because I've always got a project to work on, and it's that way with my writing too.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Adrian?
Well, like Misty, I've been at this a long time. I think I've always written. I think I wrote my first book probably 20 years ago. Took me 5 years to get that one published. Then again, it was back in the day when indie publishing wasn't really a thing. So now I'm both, right? I do my indie pubbing but I'm not opposed to a publisher either. I'm querying a women's fiction right now because I in the last couple of years I've ventured into women's fiction. My backlist is mainly romantic suspense, but I have a humorous mystery series, my Lucy Rizzo series, and I have the mystery series with Misty. I've written some standalone mysteries, and then I got the bug to write women's fiction a couple of years ago. So I call it my Ann Dano pen name, which is really just the shortened version of Adrienne Giordano.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, so and then this book I think will be number 45 or 46 for me.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a wild 20 years, as they say.
Yes, absolutely. So much has changed in the business, that's for sure.
Sure
That's for
has,
sure.
yeah.
So, Adrienne, what sparked the idea to write another Schock book? I know Misty had mentioned that she pitched the idea to you, or maybe this might be a better question for Misty is why did you pitch that book to Adrienne? Did you have a cool premise that you thought you, or did you just want to work together again, or was it just something else? Did you miss the characters? I don't know. What made you pitch the book to Adrienne?
All of those things. I always enjoy our collaborations. Um, we have a large group of fans who have been asking and asking and asking for another Shock
Yes.
Sisters mystery. And it seemed like the time might be right. We talked about a little bit about a premise, and the more we talked about it, the more I definitely wanted to explore that. And I definitely wanted to write more Charlie. Like said, her character flows really easily for me, and I was excited to do that again. So that's one of the reasons I pitched it to her and just said, "Hey, what do you think?"
All right. Adrienne, do you want to give us the overview, kind of the elevator pitch, whatever you're comfortable giving us? I'm always careful not to give
Oh yeah,
spoilers,
sure.
so
Okay, so the setup of the series is Meg and Charlie are partners in Charlie used to be an FBI profiler. She left the FBI and started her own private investigation agency. Meg is a forensic sculptor, right? So Meg is an artist by trade, but her passion is doing recreations for cold cases. So JJ Carrington, who I don't want to give too much about JJ, but
yeah.
he is the U.S. attorney in the D.C. area, and he and Charlie have a history, shall we say. And JJ is known in the law enforcement world as the emperor of cold cases. So he will often bring skulls that are found to Meg and ask her to do reconstructions. And, Meg has her own demons from some childhood trauma that she experienced, which drives her. So in this particular case, it's a cold case, but they know who the victim is. The victim is an 8-year-old child who is the niece of a very wealthy woman. Just it's sort of a politically ambitious family. They have a lot of power in DC, they have a lot of connections. And the murder happened inside their mansion on Christmas Eve 30 years ago. And this is the case that Helen Schock, Charlie and Meg's mother, had. Helen runs her own little cold case team. And this is her case du jour, as they say. And she kind of drags Charlie and Meg into investigating this case. So
More like
yes,
she just throws them into it.
pretty much. Yeah,
Right?
pretty much. It all starts with her releasing their office phone number to the media. So,
Yes. Exactly, exactly.
and she
Uh,
finds absolutely nothing wrong with that
yeah, yeah, she's not bothered by it
at
whatsoever.
all.
Yeah. Misty, one of the things that I really loved about this dynamic between Charlie and Meg is it's like they have this clear understanding of each other's character, their quirks, kind of the pros and cons, but they're also uncompromising champions of each other. And I love that dynamic because sometimes you read books where the sisters just are like, at loggerheads all the time. And I really loved that they generally love each other and and aren't afraid, at least in their minds, to express it either. So I thought that was cool.
They are very supportive of each other and very close from that standpoint, as far as both being sisters, but also their passion for what they do. I think it just adds another layer to that bond. And I think poor Meg ends up in the middle between Helen and Charlie a lot. There's an interesting dynamic there where um, Charlie, as a forensic psychologist, she understands a lot of the psychology behind what drives both her mom, herself, her sister, and all of these variables that she's trying to balance. But she also, it gives her a deeper understanding about the family that she lives in. And so there's oftentimes just things that she can let go because she knows that that bond is so deep, and she has no doubt. She knows that Meg will always be there for her. And I think that's one of the things that Adrienne and I both write really well is self-empowered women who they have a lot of flaws and they do a lot of, things that other people might not understand. But in the heat of the moment, those characters are always, going to help whoever they
Yeah.
can. And that
They
includes
rise
each
up.
other.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. They rise up. Yeah, for
right.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Adrian, in most great mysteries, there's often this element of humanity boiling beneath the surface that an author likes to explore. What do you think is boiling beneath Meg and Charlie's story? And Misty, feel free to add your thoughts in there too if you like.
Yeah. Well, I do. I think they are just both champions of what is right. Right. They just have a passion for doing the right thing. And doing the right thing means finding justice for these victims, and I think with Meg, because of this childhood trauma that she's been through, for her it never leaves her. For her, it's
Mhm.
almost destructive for her in a lot of ways because she sometimes can't separate herself from it. This mission to, you know, find justice for these victims. It is all consuming for her. She will stay up all night working on a sculpture, working on a reconstruction, going through Helen's files, whatever she has to do. Where, Charlie then kind of has to step in, being the big sister, and say, you need to get some sleep, right? She has to be the voice of reason for Meg. I think they're both equally driven, but they just do it differently. They
Mhm.
just do it differently. Yeah.
Anything to add, Misty, or did she get did Adrian sum it up well?
I think she summed it up well. And I think that's one of the reasons that I love these characters so much. They do
Yeah,
have their flaws, and they both
Yeah.
kind of know what those flaws are. They're not blind to them,
right.
but they're not necessarily going to change either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I
Charlie's
mean,
always
I've
going to
had,
step in and believe that
yeah,
she knows what's best, and push Meg to take care of herself or whatever it is. And sometimes she's going to stand up to their mom and be like, enough, this
yeah,
is, we're grown women and we can handle this and we know what we're doing. And she really hates it when people underestimate her. And I think she hates it when they underestimate Meg too. I don't know if
Yeah.
that comes across exactly in those stories, but I think that is one of the things that I've always tried to show, that doesn't matter what they've been trained in, what their education is, or anything else. They both are led by passion, and Meg is more intuitive with hers, and she's more willing a lot of times to break the rules than Charlie is. But Charlie also knows that she's often right. And so,
Mhm.
while Charlie might be trying to balance everything out, She doesn't doubt it. She doesn't doubt Meg at all.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
all in.
And I think like for Charlie, it has to be just exhausting because she's oftentimes, she's surrounded by these people that, Meg and her mom, they're just like wild stallions. They just go, 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 where Charlie's trying to wrangle them. And it has to be exhausting inside her brain.
All right. Well, we'll switch gears just a little bit here, and I'm curious. Do you have either of you read a book recently that you really, really enjoyed and would recommend to our audience? I know
I know,
it's always hard to.
yeah, well, no, I just read Falling by TJ Newman.
Yeah, great
And
book.
oh my gosh, fantastic book. Conflict, conflict, conflict. It
Yeah,
just never stopped. And I listened to the audiobook, and Stephen Weber narrated it, and just fantastic.
yeah.
So I'm about to start the next book by her,
Worst case
and I'm
scenario is it?
super, yeah,
No, is
Drowning.
drowning. That's what it is. Yeah,
Drowning.
yeah,
Yeah. So I'm
yeah.
super excited about that, but fantastic book. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Misty? Can you come up with anything?
I read all the time. I just finished a Kathy Reichs book that I missed. I think it came out in 2021 or something. And so it was one of her books that I like. But I read a lot of fantasy and romantasy and that sort of thing. So right now I have a couple of audiobooks that I'm listening to. One is The Enemy's Daughter, and I can't remember the name of the author. I'm sorry, but
That's
that's
okay.
been a really interesting one. It's very different than some of the others that I've read recently or listened to. And I just started a Lexi Ryan book, which
Oh
is
yeah, I love
also
her stuff.
yeah. And I've never read anything by her, and I'm listening to that one on audio as well. So that's a new one for me, and I'm enjoying that so far. So I'm looking forward to doing that whole series. Because
Yeah,
once I find a series I like, then I rip through them pretty fast. So
yeah, yeah. Well, great. Thank you very much. All right. Well, before we go, can you both give us a hint about what's coming up next for you? Are you doing another collaboration? Are you working on something individually? Anything you can spill?
Well, I just started a romantic suspense, maybe about a quarter of the way through that one. Um, and I have some stuff in the works on that one, so I can't really say right
Yeah.
now yet.
All righty. Okay.
But yeah, I'm excited about that one. And I have this women's fiction that I'm querying that, I may wind up indie pubbing that one.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see, we'll
Yeah.
see how the querying goes. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Great, great. How about you, Misty?
I have several books that are coming out in the next couple of months. One is under my Next Hollywell name. One is Misty Evans, a romantic suspense that'll wrap up my Black Swan Division series that I've been co-writing with my son Nolan, and that'll be out in October. And then hopefully I'm going to have Tally Sweet Urban Fantasy out in November. And right now I'm collaborating with another author on a romantasy series that'll start coming out next year. I'm writing a new seal, Rocky Mountain Seals. I'm just starting that. Books will be coming out next year. Excited about that. So yeah, a lot of things. I always have a lot of stuff in the works.
She's
I am a
always got a lot of
Gemini.
stuff in the
I
Yeah.
hopper.
jump around all the time between genres and books and everything. I have multiple books open, multiple books going all the time. It's part of my
Oh my gosh.
process.
And
I don't
I'm
know how
always
you do it.
amazed. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
I not like,
Like I
I mean, I can work on, like, if Misty and I are writing a book together, I can be writing another book on my own, but I don't know what it is like in my brain, but I can't do multiple books of my own like she can.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
crazy to me how she manages it.
So in real life, I can't keep that many things going at once and keep everything straight. But in writing, it's like I have as many as possible open and
Yeah.
going
Oh
at
my
the same
gosh.
time.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Great. All righty. Well, folks, when this episode airs, Fourth Silence will be out, so be sure and order your copy today. You can check out Adrienne's website at adriennegiordano.com and Misty's at mistyevansbooks.com. Do I have that right, ladies?
You got it.
Yes.
All right, great. What social media platform are you both most active on?
I am Facebook and Instagram. So Adrienne Giordano, author on Facebook, and Adrienne Giordano on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay.
I am on Facebook and Instagram, and that's author Misty Evans, I believe, on those platforms. I'm also on YouTube and Substack, and type Misty Evans in, you'll find me pretty
Yeah.
much everywhere.
You probably have all the
And
links. Both
I
of you probably have all the links on your website too, so it makes it nice and easy
Yeah.
for folks. Yeah.
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 That's great. All right. Well, I really appreciate you both taking the time to chat with me today. It's always great getting together with, you guys. This might be the first time we've done a little group thing like this, so this is a lot of
It
fun.
was fun.
And I can't wait for readers to get their hands on this book. I think they're
You
really,
better be
really going
careful,
to enjoy
Tracy,
it.
or we're going to drag you in and we'll have a new
You may
series and
be.
there'll be all three of us writing together.
Oh my gosh. Has
Yeah,
there ever
because
been three authors in a
oh my
collaboration
gosh,
writing one
you
book?
never
I don't
know.
know. I
But
can't I
Tracy
can't
does
picture
have
one.
that evil mind. So,
I
Tracy has that
know,
evil
right?
mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so
Come
funny you
with
say that,
us.
Adrian, because I was doing an interview a couple of weeks ago and I was talking about, whenever we were writing with Kelsey about how you were great at plotting, she was great at characterization. And I'm like, I have no idea what I contributed, but they told me it was good. So maybe it's my evil mind that was a
I
contributing
think it's,
factor.
yeah. Well, and I think, you're so willing to just go places that a lot of authors are afraid to go. Like you'll go places where I'm like, oh, I'm too afraid to do that. You're just brave in that sense where you'll just go there. I mean, for crying out
Or
loud,
daft. I could be daft.
she opens a historical romance with a torture scene, and I'm like, who does
Yes, I know. I don't know what I was
that?
thinking. But anyway, all
It's
right.
an
Well,
awesome book, though.
all right. Well, many thanks to everyone listening. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'll be back soon with another great read.